Also like to introduce this session on MSME footprints in the global market, and we're looking forward for this session to be very, very interactive. I'd like to welcome our session chair, Mr. Madhav Lal, Secretary MSME. Thank you for joining us, sir. Let's put our hands together for him. Joining us in the panel, Mr. Dinesh Agarwal, founder and CEO, IndiaMart Inter MESH. Thank you for joining us. Let's also put our hands together for Mr. Mahesh Kumar Gupta, Principal Secretary, MSME Government of Uttar Pradesh. We have with us Mr. Sushil Mohnot, CMD, Bank of Maharashtra. Thank you for joining us. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Sharad Jobanputra, CMD, Sequel Logistics. A warm welcome to Mr. Sachin Agarwal, MD PTC. A welcome to Mr. N.K. Maini, Deputy MD, SIDBI. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Kunal Phel, CEO, Snapdeal. Let's put our hands together, and I'd like to request Mr. Lal to please take things forward. Sir? We have the codices, whatever you're comfortable with.
I think to begin with that.
Whatever.
Just come there, and then one can hold it down.
Absolutely.
So a very good morning to all the panelists and other distinguished people who are here to discuss a very important subject. Actually, MSME sector is much talked about. Today we are here to talk about the global footprint of the MSME sector, now and in the future. Now, having been in this sector associated on the government side for many years, what I find is that there are different perceptions. Actually, we are talking about micro, small and medium enterprises, but these are small enterprises, but the sector is huge. And the sector is extremely heterogeneous. The tendency is that whenever we are discussing the various aspects connected with the MSME sector, then all of us, including ourselves in the government, we feel that the portion of the sector that we are dealing with is the MSME sector, and this is the most important thing. So it is very important to hear the others as to which are the aspects which are engaging their attention and to arrive at a holistic picture about the sector per se. Because in a global economy, it is important to know not only what we are doing at our end, but also what the others are doing and how the others are planning for their future. That will determine how we plan for our future. In short, we are looking at the competitiveness and productivity of the different value chains or components of the value chains in India vis-a-vis the counterparts in other parts of the world. That is what will determine our footprint in the global economy as far as MSME sector or for that matter any other sector is concerned. As I mentioned, I would not like to preempt the discussion by the thinking which has gone on in the government on this important issue, because both MSME sector and exports are important. Also, MSME sector is important for the states, and we are fortunate to have representative from the state government of Uttar Pradesh over here, industry located in the state government, some industries located operating on a national level. So with these varied perspectives, I do hope that this morning in this discussion, we will get the gist of what is required for this sector, where we are presently and where we need to reach. I think with these few words, I will close my introductory remarks, and then as the things happen, we can all, I think, interject. I don't know how we can organize, but what I will suggest is that we start by listening to the preliminary remarks and then move on to the discussion. So I invite I think sequentially, unless there is some other arrangement which has been planned by the organizers to set the ball rolling. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, sir, for these great comments early in the morning. Excited to be here because it's probably atypical for e-commerce companies to be on MSME discussions, but maybe I can shed light on why it may be pertinent as well. So traditionally, e-commerce businesses were viewed as retailers with a website, where they're basically buying a bunch of product and then using a website to sell it nationwide. And then we came along, and at Snapdeal we said that we're going to create just a platform that's going to connect the dots between the long tail of supply of the many small businesses that exist, either they're manufacturers, retailers, traders, and connect them to demand across 5,000 towns and cities. And that's what we started building out about 3 years ago. And now, fast forward 3 years, we have about 100,000 small MSMEs actually. Some are very small. Some actually started the business to sell online. 30% of our sellers or merchants are women entrepreneurs, first-time women entrepreneurs. Many others are also first-time entrepreneurs on the platform. And it's interesting that our platform, over a period of time, as I've thought about it, has become essentially a confluence of Digital India and Make in India, where we are encouraging a lot of manufacturers who otherwise were either only exporting or supplying to their catchment area. They are now able to supply locally but sell nationally. I think that is very exciting, where in a short period of time, we've seen by the end of this year, about $5 billion worth of goods are going to be sold by these MSMEs to, we have about 40 million consumers across 4 crore consumers across the country. And so if I fast forward 10 years, it's becoming extremely clear how attractive this medium is going to become for MSMEs to create life-changing experiences for themselves. But it's not easy to do this. So we are doing a lot of work with respect to technology. So we have 1,000 engineers building this platform for MSMEs, providing them warehouse management systems, inventory management systems, pricing systems, analytics systems, marketing systems to be successful. We have also been investing in creating awareness for these MSMEs to become online sellers, because their awareness level has traditionally been low. Our vision is that next 3 years we want to get to about 1 million online, creating 1 million online entrepreneurs in India, which I think we can get to. We're at 100,000 right now. The other interesting thing is that a lot of these MSMEs, when they started selling on our platform, never thought that this would ever become big. But for some of them, it's become so big that they've actually now mostly focused on the online channel, because they realize it's so much more efficient and the scale they can get is significant. Of course, there will be some who will not adopt this new channel. And I think we will have to figure out what happens to them. And that's where we sometimes hear some noise around offline, online being in conflict. However, I view it as a deeply symbiotic relationship. For those who adopt the online channel can actually become very successful MSMEs and can go from micro to small to medium and eventually to large as well. One seller I know last month did about 40 crores of sales on Snapdeal just in 1 month. So and that on a 500 crore a year run rate business is not a small business to create in a short period of time, and purely through the online channel, only through one facility. We've now actually created a network of 50 fulfillment centers across the country with 2 million square feet, where these really small businesses can leave their products and we will help with the fulfillment. So it's exciting what this space is able to do for the MSMEs, and happy to talk more about it.
So it's really good. I mean, you talked about a confluence of Make in India and Digital India, which is what it is, your business activity. Also interesting is that there is a process of aggregation involved in the supply chain and distribution, which have actually been some of the issues facing the MSMEs. Of course, there are other issues, as you mentioned, the critical ones, which we will come to in the discussion. But may I invite Mr. Agarwal, who is in manufacturing,
Yes,
so
sure.
you
Yes,
can give the manufacturing perspective.
Sir, I think one thing that we need to uh, set our goals on is what do we want with MSMEs in India? Is it that we want the MSME sector should grow in numbers, or do we want that the micro should, as Kunal was saying, should move to small and small to medium and medium eventually to large? Actually, so the goal should actually be to reduction of this and movement of more of the companies in the value chain much forward. And for that to happen, it's very important that the shackles that have been put, in a sense, for MSME entrepreneur should be removed. If you look at the amount of time an MSME entrepreneur really spends on his business, it varies, but largely he is not really innovating. Majority of them are not innovating or not really spending that much time on their business, but rather spending a lot of time in trying to fulfill the various compliances, filings, regulations. So I think one of the challenge is to remove these shackles and let the MSME entrepreneur become free, and let him focus back into the business and create that innovation, bring that innovation out, bring those products out, and actually grow. And for that, the government really needs to, as sir, you rightly said that right in the address, is that MSME is not just one sector, and it's really a variety of industries. Sector-wise, it needs to see which particular sectors have the best potential in the MSMEs. And MSME should not be looked as one single sector or segment, but actually a conglomerate of various potentials, possibilities in the country. And that is the only way we could really assist or we could actually bring them up. To get into the Make in India, zero effect, zero defect concept, lot of focus and attention needs to be there in the policies that are being framed, and whether they are just suited for the very large enterprises, or do they have an actual impact on the MSME sector. Lot of new policies are coming in, and I would say that somehow this impact assessment on the MSME should be done on each particular policy that comes out from the government now.
Yeah, so important point, I think that the entrepreneur should have the time to attend to his business rather than to spend the time in extraneous activities, and the policies should be aligned in a way which facilitates that. So some people actually have said that instead of thinking big, we should be thinking small, thinking off the small. And that's the point, I think, which you've largely tried to make. So I invite Mr. Joban Putra from Sequel to...
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me share a few things about SQL in the first place. I'll share my experiences rather. In last 10 years, when we started with zero, we were definitely a micro logistics company. Became small, and today we are a medium-sized logistics company. We are into a niche segment. We handle precious cargo. That means precious metal, which is bullion, gold, silver, diamonds, and jewelry. In last 5 years, we have become the largest jewelry mover, precious cargo mover in the country. And the competition has been from the MNCs. Very tough competition, because in this market, the MNC banks will not allow you, they will not talk to you also at times. The Indian banks will be wary of talking to us, because it's a crores of material you are carrying. Insurance companies will not be willing to give you the insurance what you need. Without insurance, you cannot really carry the material. So there are various issues, and the banks also, your own banker may not believe at some time in you. Fortunately, we had our clients who believed in us, and that's where we are today. Probably this year will be 120 crore company with a fairly decent bottom line as well. We acquired a couple of companies in India this year, in the beginning of the financial year. On 1st January, we acquired a couple of companies overseas, one in US, one in Europe. I've been traveling very extensively and attending various conferences across the world. And what I have learned is that internationally, the family businesses run professionally are really valued very well. What we see in India is the MNC professionally run, but actually if you look at globally, it is valued very well, because the promoters, they have their hard-earned money, their own soul into the business, and that's what is valued. Today, I'm really proud to say that we are recognized world over by many MNC banks as well, because they are the sellers of bullion to India. So today they know us, they know our services, and that's where we are today. I think that's what I thought of sharing a few things with you. But going forward, I think the banking industry and the insurance companies should look at MSME very seriously. Specifically insurance, they are just neglecting the MSME sectors, and then they create maximum possible hurdles. In fact, we went ahead and we were really very aggressive, and we went ahead and took our insurance from overseas. Rather, we got it reinsured with the overseas reinsurers first, and got the domestic insurance. But I think with the liberalization of the insurance sector, let's see if something great can come up, because no Indian insurance company is capable of giving the insurance for the kind of material what we are carrying.
So I think three new elements have been added to this discussion. One is about the logistics part per se, the other about insurance and its role in MSMEs, especially in the matter of exports and global trade. And the third is about banking. So I think Mr. Manhot is the right person to take this forward from a banking perspective.
Thank you, sir. From a banking perspective, first of all, I'll say, when we are discussing MSMEs, I think the discussion is to be in two parts. One is promoting MSMEs, new MSMEs, and the other is running a successful MSME. I think what we have had from the e-commerce company, which we came across, that they are going to help in terms of successfully running an MSME business. And they are increasingly becoming an important part of the value chain for the MSME sector. Going forward, I think they'll become very much more. The second thing which now we can discuss in terms of is setting up of the MSME sector. Now, banks are always keen to finance the MSME sector. Now, why? It is because it is a very good, it is the best asset class for a bank. They will get very good yield on their investments, yield on their advances, and simultaneously, we have a diversified set of people whom we are financing. The NPAs may be a little higher, but the loss given a default is lower because of the collateral available to us. So every banker would like to do it, financing SMEs, and you can see that in the last 3 years, this growth has happened 23% a year, which is much more than the growth of the MSME sector. So bankers are keen. Now, what is the problem where the financing doesn't happen? People are there willing to take the money, and we are willing to give the money. Why it doesn't happen? So there are some issues in the ecosystem. One of the issues is in terms of credit facilitation. There's a huge, the IFC study has been there, which has said that there are three important things, areas in which there has been a problem in accessing bank finance. One is lack of information and awareness, another is the cumbersome processes, and the third is collaterals. I think if you look at these first two things, information and the awareness part, I think this is where a young entrepreneur, when he comes to a bank branch and he comes up with a sketchy report or a business plan, then naturally the bank manager is not able to finance that. So can we build some professional system of credit facilitation to help these kind of entrepreneurs to be able to successfully take up a bank loan by developing a proper project profile, by preparing a project plans. So this can be one of the areas where we can need to discuss, and somewhere we need to bridge this gap to certain extent, and there are certain means available to do this thing. The second one will be on credit enhancement or the credit guarantee, which will be available for when you are giving not able to give the collateral, so this can give as a collateral. And I would request, of course, this should be covered by SIDBI. Mr. Manny could cover up on that part of it. Another important area which I would like to just touch upon is that if you become a little larger, MSME now, we are going a little larger, then the problem is not of information or not of other awareness, but or of collateral, but the problem is of equity financing. So that is another important area, I think, which we need to develop formal sources of equity financing in the country, and government has done something really wonderful on that in terms of bringing in an MSME venture capital fund of 10,000 crores. And I am sure Madhav Raj will be able to tell us about the operationalizations and other things and what is happening on those fronts also. The last point which I would like to now cover is MSMEs are huge numbers, maybe 5 crores. Banks have 1,25,000 branches. How do you really reach out to all of them? So the banking sector alone is not capable of reaching out to them. Just like we see in the FMCG sector. Now FMCG sector has reached out by way of soap and oil and shampoos to crores of people, 80 crores people. But we are not even able to reach out to 5 crore of SMEs. Now they are doing it by way of distributors, by way of retailers, agents and other segments. Can the banking sector also not add more of these distributors, retailers, agents? And that they have started doing it, like NBFCs, microfinance institutions, gold loan companies, or even now the new payment banks and the small banks, and also whether it could be even registered money lenders. So huge range of people are available. Only thing is we need an enabling regulatory framework for them, and we need in a way that we can support this kind of a system much more by way of a proper regulatory framework. If it can be done, then we will have another 5 lakhs or so agencies who will be able to really go and meet the demands of this sector. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent introduction with emphasis on facilitation for financial access. But when we are talking about facilitation, there is another element in it. And for MSMEs, the interface with the state government and state government agencies is extremely important. We have with us Mr. Mahesh Gupta, Principal Secretary from UP government, who may throw some light on this issue.
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी। एमएसएमई के बारे में जैसा कि नाम है माइक्रो, स्मॉल एंड मीडियम, माइक्रो भी हैं, स्मॉल भी हैं, छोटे छोटे लोग हैं और मोस्टली वन मैन शो है। एक ही आदमी बिजनेस भी करता है, प्रोडक्शन भी करता है, मार्केटिंग भी करता है, उसको फाइनेंस भी चाहिए, उसको मैनेजमेंट भी चाहिए, एचआर एक्टिविटी भी उसको देखनी है, सब कुछ करना है उसको। अपने आप में बहुत ही बिजी है, एंगेज्ड है, और ज़रा सी भी कहीं उसकी चूक हुई तो उसका बिजनेस बैठ जाता है। एमएस सेक्टर के लिए ख़ास तौर से बहुत ज़रूरी है 3-4 चीज़ों की, जिसके लिए वो हमेशा परेशान रहता है। उसको मैन पावर, जो उसका टेक्निकल नो हाउ है, स्किल लेबर, फाइनेंसेस और मार्केटिंग, ये चीज़ें अगर उसको इजीली मुहैया हो जाती हैं तो निस्संदेह उसका सेक्टर चल पड़ता है और उसको दिक्कत नहीं आती है। आज अगर हम एक एक इनपुट की हम बात करें, मे बी क्रेडिट की अगर हम बात करते हैं, क्रेडिट उसको मिलता ज़रूर है, लेकिन ऐसे तमाम रीजंस हैं, जैसा कि अभी भी इनमरेट किया गया, तो उसकी प्रॉपर प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट नहीं बन पाती, या कभी कभी ब्रांचेस में कुछ लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो कि चीज़ों को अप्रिशिएट नहीं कर पाते हैं। नतीजा उसका ये होता है कि जिस समय उसको जितने फाइनेंस की ज़रूरत होती है उतना पैसा उसको तुरंत नहीं मिल पाता, और अगर उसको पैसा डिलेड मिला तो फिर उसके लिए यूज़फुल नहीं रह जाता है। दूसरी चीज़ निकल के आती है कि उसको रॉ मटेरियल की जो ज़रूरत है, क्वालिटी रॉ मटेरियल उसको मिल जाए तो उसका काम चल पड़ता है। तीसरी चीज़ आती है मार्केटिंग की बात, प्रोडक्ट रेंज और मार्केटिंग की बात आती है। अगर उसकी प्रोडक्ट क्वालिटी, प्रोडक्शन क्वांटिटी, प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी उसकी एडिक्वेट है, तभी वो मार्केट को कैप्चर कर पाएगा और आगे अपनी चीज़ों को निकाल पाएगा। लेकिन उसके सामने दिक्कत ये है कि उसकी प्रेजेंटेबिलिटी अपनी बहुत वीक है, मार्केट की डिमांड के हिसाब से, मे बी कि उसके डिज़ाइंस अपडेट नहीं हैं, मे बी कि उसका प्रेजेंटेशन उतना अच्छा नहीं है, और दूसरी चीज़, सबसे अहम चीज़ है कि उसकी रीच उतनी नहीं है, वो बहुत ही लिमिटेड मार्केट में ऑपरेट करता है। आज उसके पास जो भी टेक्नोलॉजी है वो भी हो सकता है कि बहुत ट्रेडिशनल वे में कहीं चल रहा हो। मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजीज़ आज अवेलेबल हैं, ऑटोमेशन अवेलेबल है, लेकिन वो उस चीज़ को अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकता। कुल मिलाकर उसको फाइनेंसेस के साथ साथ एक ऐसे मददगार की भी ज़रूरत है जो उसको प्रोडक्शन, स्किल लेबर, फाइनेंस, मार्केटिंग, इन सब चीज़ों में उसको मदद कर सके। और यहाँ पर रोल आता है गवर्नमेंट का। तमाम स्कीम्स चाहे भारत सरकार की हैं चाहे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स की हैं, पैट्रोनेज के लिए उसको संचालित की जा रही हैं, उसका बेनिफिट भी उसको मिल रहा है। लेकिन अभी भी कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी हैं, कुछ सेक्टर्स ऐसे हैं जहाँ पर काफ़ी कुछ कर गुजरने की ज़रूरत है। सबसे अहम चीज़ है कि जो हमारा कटिंग एज है फील्ड लेवल पर, डिस्ट्रिक्ट इंडस्ट्री सेंटर जो होता है, उसको आज हमें अपडेट करने की बहुत ज़रूरत है। वहाँ के जो मैन पावर अवेलेबल हैं उनका रीओरिएंटेशन बहुत ज़रूरी है। इसी तरह से जो बैंक में या बाकी और पोर्टल्स पे जो चीज़ें उसको चाहिए होती हैं, वहाँ जिन लोगों से उसका इंटरफेस होता है, दे शुड बी प्रॉपरली रीओरिएंटेड एंड दे शुड बी MSME फ्रेंडली। दे शुड हैव अ सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज। आज की तमाम पॉलिसीज़ हैं, टेक्नोलॉजिकल अपग्रेडेशंस है, मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटजीज़ हैं, ये सब चीज़ें जब तक वहाँ नहीं होंगी, अपडेटेड नहीं होंगी, तब तक वो DICs जो उनका एक रोल होना चाहिए था कंसल्टेशन का, वो उतना इफ़ेक्टिव नहीं हो पाएगा। दूसरी चीज़, गवर्नमेंट पैट्रोनेज भी आज कुछ चीज़ों में मेकशिफ्ट की ज़रूरत है। मैं अभी बात कर रहा था, बनारस गया हुआ था कुछ दिन पहले। बनारसी साड़ीज़ में सिल्क का जो इस्तेमाल होता है, जो हमारा नेचुरल सिल्क इंडिया में बन रहा है, उसके थ्रेड जो बनते हैं दे आर वीक, और जब करघे पर वो थ्रेड चलाए जाते हैं तो टूट जाते हैं। नतीजा उसको बार बार वीवर को जोड़ना पड़ता है, और चीज़ों को उसकी एक तो प्रोडक्टिविटी की स्पीड कम हो जाती है, क्वालिटी हैम्पर होती है। इस वजह से आज उस पर शिफ्ट हुआ है कि चाइनीज़ सिल्क का इस्तेमाल शुरू हो गया है। चाइनीज़ सिल्क में लस्टर है, स्ट्रेंथ है, लेकिन महंगा है। आज अगर हम ये सोचें कि एक ऐसी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी हम डेवलप करें जिससे हमारा नेचुरल सिल्क का थ्रेड स्ट्रेंथन हो जाए, तो शायद हमको चाइनीज़ सिल्क के यूज़ की ज़रूरत नहीं रह जाएगी। कहने का आशा ये है कि ऐसे ऐसे तमाम हर इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर में कुछ न कुछ ऐसे टेक्निकल अपग्रेडेशन की भी कहीं ना कहीं ज़रूरत है, जिसमें हम अपनी चीज़ों को बेहतर कर सकते हैं। उसका नतीजा होगा कि विल गेट अ बेटर क्वालिटी, हाई प्रोडक्टिविटी रेट, और चीपर रेट पे हमको चीज़ें मिल जाएंगी। तो टेक्नोलॉजिकल अपग्रेडेशन के लिए अगर हम हमारे जो टेक्निकल इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं उनकी मदद लें, उनको इन्वॉल्व करें, उन चीज़ों से भी हमको काफ़ी बेनिफिट मिलेगा। तीसरी चीज़ जो निकल के आती है मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटजी की, रॉ मटेरियल इनपुट की बात, अब उसकी अवेलेबिलिटी की बात। आज इस बात की ज़रूरत है कि वी शुड हैव अ पोर्टल, ए कॉमन प्लेटफॉर्म, जहाँ पे एक होलिस्टिक पर्सपेक्टिव में सब चीज़ें अवेलेबल हों, इंफॉर्मेशंस अवेलेबल हों कि ऑल ओवर इंडिया, नेशनल लेवल पर, इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर क्या चीज़ें अवेलेबल हैं, कैसे अवेलेबल हैं, किस रेट पे अवेलेबल हैं, क्या क्वालिटी है, सो दैट एट अ क्लिक ऑफ वन बटन किसी भी माइक्रो स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्रेन्योर को ये दिख जाए कि अगर उसको ये पर्टिकुलर पार्ट चाहिए, ये मशीन चाहिए, ये प्रोडक्ट रेंज चाहिए, तो वो उसको अवेलेबल हो, दिख जाए, सो दैट ही कैन गेट इन टच विद देम एंड गेट द थिंग्स एक्सपीडाइटेड। क्योंकि टाइम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्वालिटी, मटेरियल, टाइम। इस नेटवर्किंग से भी मेरे ख्याल से एमएसएमई सेक्टर को काफ़ी मदद मिलेगी। तीसरी चीज़ है, हम नई चीज़ों को ऐड करते जा रहे हैं, लेकिन पुराने लोगों के सर्वाइवल के बारे में कभी कभी हम लोग मिस कर जाते हैं। अगर हम ये देखें कि जो सिक एमएसएमईज़ हो रहे हैं पिछले कुछ दिनों से, उनके कुछ इश्यूज़ को अगर हम आइडेंटिफाई करें, अभी एक डाटा एनालिसिस कराई गई थी तो मैंने देखा था द रीजंस ऑफ सिकनेस, मार्केट में डिमांड ना होने से रफली 42% इंडस्ट्री सिक हुई थी। वर्किंग कैपिटल की शॉर्टेज से रफली 21%, मार्केटिंग इश्यूज़ को लेकर 12%, मैनेजमेंट इश्यूज़ को लेकर 6%, शॉर्टेज ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से 6%, लेबर इश्यूज़ से 6%, रॉ मटेरियल इनपुट से 5% एंड टेक्निकल रीज़न से 3%। मेनली अगर मैं देखता हूँ तो इसमें वर्किंग कैपिटल एंड मार्केटिंग इश्यूज़ दो चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो कि बहुत अहमियत रखती हैं। तो आई नीड कि इस रीज़न ऑफ सिकनेस को भी अगर हम आइडेंटिफाई कर लें और उस दिशा में भी हम कुछ होमवर्क करना शुरू कर दें, तो आई होप कि ये एमएसएमई सेक्टर के लिए एक अच्छा कंट्रीब्यूशन होगा गवर्नमेंट्स के लिए, गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से। आई थिंक दीज आर सम ऑफ द इश्यूज आई लाइक टू फ्लैग फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट साइड, एंड एज अ प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी यूपी वी आर स्ट्राइविंग हार्ड कि इन इश्यूज़ को कैसे हम प्लग इन कर सकें। अपनी पॉलिसीज़ के लिए भी हम लोग स्ट्राइव कर रहे हैं, एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ यूपी ने अभी हाल में ही हैंडीक्राफ्ट पॉलिसी भी अनाउंस की है और उसमें काफ़ी मदद करने की और तमाम चीज़ों को डेवलप करने की बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग। एमएसएमई पॉलिसी और एक्सपोर्ट पॉलिसी पे भी हम लोग वर्क कर रहे हैं, एग्जिट पॉलिसी पर भी हम लोग वर्क कर रहे हैं, एंड आई होप कि गवर्नमेंट ऑफ यूपी विल कम अप विद दिस वेरी सून। थैंक यू।
Thank you very much. I think we'll come back to the policy issues and the new initiatives, both from the state government perspective and central government perspective a little bit later on, and before or maybe after we have thrown open this discussion. But SIDBI has also been taking a number of initiatives, and we talked about technological innovations, but also new innovations or innovative ideas in the realm of MSME financing is something which SIDBI has been looking at over a longish period, and Mr. Many has been associated with this for a number of years, so I request him to say a few words on that aspect particularly and generally about MSME financing.
In fact, before coming to the financing aspects and the innovations in financing, perhaps, I find a common thread amongst the three practitioners from industry, from e-commerce, from industry itself, manufacturing side, and from the logistics side. And there are two or three common issues which emerge, and which also Secretary from UP mentioned to a large extent. What are these? First and foremost, I think for the sector is the question of the ease of doing business. Yesterday also we talked about being 142nd on the index of ease of doing business. And we really need to move up that to number 50 or something if we want our MSMEs to be competitive and have a global footprint. And ease of doing business includes ease of starting business and exit also. These are two very fundamental things in ease of doing business. Related to ease of doing business is a second question in terms of infrastructure. Some of the problems for the sickness, including shortage of electricity, water, etc., these are part of infrastructure. More importantly, within infrastructure is the land. availability of land at affordable prices for manufacturing sector industries to come up. Services sector comes up in lease premises, but manufacturing sector invariably has to buy land, which is a very major element of the cost of the project, and servicing the debt for that itself is a major effort for the MSMEs. Can we in future be looking at industrial estates which could be on lease basis, so that this cost of land doesn't have to be factored in, but the rental every year comes out of the income and also provides a tax shield, because an expenditure always gets a tax shield also. This is one of the requests I have been receiving from industry across the country. These are the common set of problems. The individual set of problems we'll address as we move on separately. Now, coming to the finance part of it. Yes, in the finance part, timely and adequate credit, I think, is the sine qua non for financing MSMEs. And how do we ensure that? A startup needs a different kind of financing from a growing company, and there are certain companies which may be working capital intensive, needing totally different set of financing. So startup financing by way of innovation financing, venture capital financing, etc., is one of the products which we offer from SIDBI through SIDBI Venture Capital Limited, and we play the role of a fund of fund investing in various venture capital funds which are targeting MSMEs, basically. The second part of the problem, the growth capital, is where, companies which plan to go international, companies which plan to have a global footprint, are obviously going to need increasing capital to leverage more of debt. Where is this going to come? Some of it may come from venture capital, but these are the companies which probably need risk capital, not necessarily by way of equity. It could come by way of subordinated debt kind of instruments, which have a long-term tenor and a long-term moratorium on the repayment, even though they may carry a higher rate than a normal interest rate, because they are unsecured kind of instruments. So this is a product, again, which SIDBI has innovated and offers in the market, and this subordinate debt can be leveraged to raise additional funding from banks. Coming to the most critical area, I think, of financing, which Secretary UP also talked about, basically the issue of working capital leading to sickness in quite a large number of firms, as per their study also. This, yes, working capital is the most crucial part of the lifeline of MSMEs. And today, if we look at it, working capital comes by way of what is called your cash credit limits. Worldwide, working capital is provided partly by way of demand loan kind of instruments and by factoring. These are the two major modes of purveying working capital. Unfortunately, in India, we are continuing with this old system of cash credit, which needs to be increasingly replaced by factoring and reverse factoring. Now, what is reverse factoring? Reverse factoring is basically discounting the bills of an MSME supplier to a large corporate or a large unit, basically, and ensuring that MSME gets the payment on day one. Factoring is also a similar mode, except that there is no recourse to the seller also under factoring in its true essence. Going forward, one point which needs to be flagged here is it is not the large corporate sector alone which is at fault in terms of payment of receivables of MSMEs. The public sector and government departments are equally well those who delay payments, and at any point of time, it's estimated that between 60 to 70,000 crores of payments are due to MSMEs from the public sector itself. Now, how do we address this problem going forward? And this is where the innovation and financing is really coming in. Reserve Bank of India has proposed a new platform called TREDS, Trade Receivable E-Discounting System, under which there will be three principal players who will be on this platform. Number one is a set of financiers, commercial banks, NBFCs, factoring companies, etc. That is number one. Number two is the MSMEs who are accredited and registered with large corporates and supply to large corporates. And the third set, obviously, is the large corporates themselves. So these are the three major players on the platform. As and when the MSMEs make a supply to any of the large corporates or to the government organizations, going forward, we intend to bring the government organizations on the platform also. They would raise their invoice or bill on this platform. And this bill would, after acceptance by the large corporate, go through a price discovery mechanism under which the financer which bids the lowest price for discounting that bill will get to discount that bill. So what are we doing? Two things. One, ensuring that MSME gets timely payment, More importantly, MSME gets payment at a competitive rate because we are bringing competition through bidding process from all the financiers. Going forward, the guidelines for this have been finalized. The last date for lodging the applications for this platform is middle of February, and SIDBI, along with a couple of other major players in the sector, is proposing to lodge an application to take forward this platform. So this is how we would look at bringing in innovation within the working capital area for the MSME sector in times to come. I think one last point I want to make, because there was a mention about innovation. The innovation intensity today of the MSME sector is increasing. Innovation intensity means a large segment of your revenue coming from inventions or products developed during the last 3 years, basically. And 17% of the Indian MSMEs today are showing a very high level of innovation intensity, which shows that there is a lot of innovation going on, and we need to support that process further as we move on. And that is where the first part of what I said, venture capital, really comes in to support such kind of projects. I think I'll stop here for the time being and come back to many of the issues later on.
Actually touched upon very important and critical issues connected with the working capital. You mentioned about a difference in the working capital funding methodology and the need to change that, and to increasingly use the factoring and reverse factoring methodologies. You mentioned about the trades mechanism. Ultimately, of course, we will be looking at the scale at all these things are happening, and the need for graduating to a higher scale and how we can do that. Because keeping in view the scale, or rather the expanse of this entire sector, perhaps that is an issue which will engage the minds of the bankers and policymakers in the coming months and years ahead. But may I, for the moment, request Mr. Dinesh Agarwal from India Mart to say a few words.
Thank you, sir. Let me tell you a little bit about India Mart and MSME landscape. So India Mart started as a B2B marketplace for international export-import businesses. For the first 10 years, we have had a great experience of working with the export-led SMEs and how the import-led business transactions happened. Over the past 5-7 years, we have been focusing on domestic B2B e-commerce, and today the numbers are startling. Today, we have more than 2 million MSMEs on our platform, which are doing business worth 20,000 crores annually because of India Mart as a platform, and buyers from across the country are generating more than 6 million business inquiries every month for these 2 million MSMEs. Now, one of the items that Mr. Mahesh also touched, and everybody is commonly saying, is that MSMEs need access to finance and access to marketing, and sometimes access to information itself, or access to information about raw material, access to information about technology, access to information about suppliers, machinery. We have seen that the old methods of, the traditional methods of marketing for MSMEs are slowly and slowly proving to be cost ineffective, be it trade fairs, be it trade magazines, or be it the embassy-led marketing system. Today, technology has become the key to success in every aspects of life. See, on one side we are saying that there are more than 40 million MSMEs in the country. On the other side, the buyers are, the same MSME buyers are unable to find the information about them. There is no information aggregation that has happened. There is some kind of a MSME registration. Hardly 13% of the total MSME base is registered with MSME Ministry or Department of DC MSME. even that information is in the older format, has the address and the firm name. With no newer, it doesn't have the mobile name, it doesn't have the email ID, it doesn't have the website address. So what is happening is, on one side we are saying that SMEs need access to market. On the other side we are saying the SMEs need access to information, and what it needs is basically a information system, more like IndiaMart, more like Snapdeal, or more like any government initiative like Hong Kong Trade Development Center, those kind of initiatives. We have seen in the past that government has taken many initiatives. Actually, different governments have taken different initiatives at different times, but none of them actually could sustain for a longer period of time. Similarly, MSMEs need access to finance, and banks need access to MSMEs. I have seen, as soon as you start to talk to any banker, that we have these many MSMEs, and we have their buying and selling data, and then we have their payments data. They start to okay, how can I start to get into this? So it's not that the money is not there. Money is there, MSMEs are there, the information is there, but the information is not available in the right format that is required for the banker. So we need to adopt a lot of technology, and today this technology is making things much more easier. Over the last 10 years, telecom revolution has made this possible. Over the last 5 years, internet revolution, and especially the mobile internet revolution, is making this possible. Today, everybody, even now, many people continue to look at their phones, keep doing their business while sitting in the conference. So the business has become, because of the technology. Even financing, newer methods of financing are being discovered by way of technology. So technology has become a lifeline to everything, whether it is the financing activity, whether it is the marketing activity, or whether it is the price discovery activity, or whether it is the product discovery activity. In all kinds of activity, technology is the common fiber that is flowing through. And so we need to look at it from the MSME perspective, since we have worked for 15, 17 years with MSMEs and different kinds of MSMEs in different sectors. I agree with Mr. Mani that there are 2-3 top challenges that remains to be solved, are not the subsidy for marketing. There are 2-3 top challenges remains is access to land, access to infrastructure. Access to power is a big one. Today power deficit, power shortage, power cuts is a big dampener to the MSME growth story, MSME continuity story. And obviously access to timely finance. And timely finance will not happen through traditional means. Somebody will have to bring on technology. In the West, there are a lot of new technology models have come up, Wonga, peer-to-peer networking. Even here, SME floats and those kind of things are coming. So I think technology has to be used big time, because from the government side, I think we as a MSME panel should try and lobby how can we make it easy to do business, because it is not about the amount of taxes. It is about the number of taxes and number of filings, which is making MSME's life more difficult. It is not about the amount of taxes. Amount of taxes are okay. They will automatically come down if the compliance goes up. It is about the number of filings, the amount of filings, the number of departments that one has to deal with. Yesterday Prime Minister himself said that 4 धाम में तो इंसान को मुक्ति मिल जाती है, बट यहाँ के इंडिया की फाइलों को 36 धामों में जाने के बाद भी मुक्ति नहीं मिलती है. Prime Minister himself said yesterday. So I would say that let us focus on infrastructure, and one or two key infrastructure is power and land, and probably now technology. And technology is, today technology means internet. So if we can provide reliable internet facilities from the infrastructure point of view, so there are only 2 big demands that are from the MSME side, infrastructure and ease.
Yeah, I think we have come back to the point where we started from, and that is the ease of doing business, which is really critical. And
2 e-commerce people are sitting at the end of the panel.
No, that is, I think, a point which is very well accepted. And I think both from the point of view of e-commerce, there is an entry to actually service the MSMEs. I mean, there is, it is also, it can be considered as you are a service provider in the sense of aggregating from the MSMEs and taking the MSME products to the market. But the sector being so large, maybe the market is all the time not providing certain solutions, and there is a role for the government and government institutions also to step in. In the Ministry of MSME, in fact, I would just like to make a few mention of a few new initiatives, because we were talking about the facilitation mechanism, whether it relates to finance or whether it relates to starting a business, whether it relates to providing the necessary information for the growth of an enterprise about market intelligence and so on. Currently, on our website, we have 4 different mechanisms on a pilot scale which we are proposing for mentoring of the MSMEs. They relate to the requirements of the MSMEs as we perceived after a lot of discussion with stakeholders for startups and for growth of MSMEs. Another important point which had come up initially was about the need to actually study the verticals. In fact, very important information is also coming from the e-business portals as to what is happening where, which are the main centers of aggregation, production, demand for MSME products. I mean, this information was impossible to collect earlier on, but it has become so easy as a result of what you mentioned is the technology embedded in the business model of e-retailing. So that is something which we can make use of in a much bigger way. I feel that given our demographic situation, a huge market lies in the rural part of the economy, and there is also a need to develop that aspect. A number of proposed schemes have been listed on our website. One is with regard to the